we're off and running. Folks, if you're just joining us, we are speaking with a civil rights legend. That's right, legend today. His name is Charles Evers. Now, if the last name Evers rings a bell, it really should. He is the brother of Medgar Evers. Sir, I want to welcome you to the show, and I want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Sir, many of the people listening now, as this show is broadcast throughout all the university stations, are younger students. They may not be aware of your brother's story. I was wondering if you could just give a brief synopsis of that story right now.
Well, I guess the story is brief and short and long. The only thing I can say is he's one of the many Negroes, at those times we were Negroes, and every year we changed, that wanted to be free. We would deny any the rights of others who had rights in this country. We couldn't vote. We couldn't drink water out of a public water fountain. We couldn't use public restrooms. We couldn't do anything that whites did. And Medgar and I both went and fought in World War II for democracy to save this country, and we couldn't enjoy it. So we decided that there's no point in going killing Germans and Japanese and can't live in the country here with our own folks. So he and I decided to start trying to find out what the problem was, and we realized that it's all in our political power. It's those judges and the constables and the mayors and and the representatives. Those are the ones who made the law that denied us the right to be free. So we began to fight against it, organize against it.
When did you start your organization against it? Was it in the 50s, the 60s?
Yes, and when we first came out, we went in the army, and we went to a segregated army, had Negro troops in one rundown camp, and the whites were in another good camp. The Negro troops had old half PXs. That's where you post exchange where you get your goods from, and the whites had the nice clean stores. And we knew then it was wrong, and so it really began in the army. And when we came out of the army, we didn't stop. We came home and went straight to our hometown, which is Decatur, Mississippi, and tried to register. And they said, you niggas can't register. It's not your job. And things haven't changed for y'all. So we said, the hell, it ain't changed. We're going to make it change. And we went from there. And started getting a few other Negroes to join us. And we wanted to, and Dr. Aaron Henry, and Apple Clarksdale, and Dr. T.R.M. Howard was one of our leading positions at that time, black doctor, Negroes at that time, and we changed, as I said earlier. So that's how we feel how wrong it was. And then we began to try to organize and reach out to get people to help us. And he's the one who really started. And I joined him as the state coordinator for voter registration. He was the one for integration.
What was life like in Mississippi at that time for you? Once you started this ball rolling, if you will, was there a lot of opposition?
Oh, God, yeah. Threats every day, every hour. Just anywhere we went, somebody was harassing us. If we went to the stores, if you drove our car, we couldn't even park our cars on the main street. None of this mean any Negro. It wasn't just me. Medgar, it was all of us. And that's what we got just couldn't handle it no more. And just didn't make sense. And finally, when a few white kids began to come in to help us from the north, that's when things began to change. When they saw them beating us and throwing gas on us and tear gas on us and dogs on us, because we just wanted to be an American citizen, then that's when the government started stepping in. And some kids, a few from Canada came, by the way, and New York and other places, California, one or two of them, and joined us. And when television began to show that type of brutality and what it was about, then some things began to change.
You're listening to The Brent Holland Show. For more information on today's guests, as well as free podcasts and downloads, please go to the www.brenthollandshow.com website, www.brenthollandshow.com.
Folks, we're speaking with a living legend today. His name is Charles Evers. He's the brother of Medgar Evers, but he's much more than that as well. Not that that's anything to look down upon. He was the leader of the NAACP, in Mississippi. He was also the very first mayor a black man voted as a mayor. He has all these wonderful credentials, and of course,
God.
But it's groundbreaking, sir. You know, I interviewed Abraham Bolden. You probably don't know that name, but he was the first African-American Secret Service agent handpicked by John F. Kennedy.
Okay.
And he would walk into his office, and here's a man responsible to protect John F. Kennedy. He would walk into his office and somebody would hang a bloody noose over his desk.
Mhm.
People today are shocked by this, but this was commonplace in those days.
Oh,
And
yes.
this is what I'm trying to get through to the students today. To have an African American in the White House is a miracle.
And it's so important, though, that you also get out to them that we as blacks have the same responsibility anyone else has. Once we get these things, we got to use them like anyone else, and for the advancement of all of us, not just black folks. That was the problem with white people. They just only want to see white people's freedom. Well, that's just wrong. And I've been 100% against segregation, no matter who does it. I don't belong to any black organization. I don't belong to. I despise the Black Panthers because they were teaching hate. And I think we got to say that to blacks now that we have an opportunity. Let's take advantage of it. Let's get educated and let's go out and aspire to be whatever we can be if we want to be something. And don't let it become a racial thing. It is terrible. I lost a brother. I lost two brothers because we were Negroes. My older brother wasn't publicized as much as my baby brother, and we lost a lot of friends. I lost the Kennedys was my friend. Many others. Ms. LaRusso and I was very close, the one who was killed in Alabama. The three civil rights workers were young men who were friends I knew. They're all black and white, and they died for freedom and equality. And blacks got to understand this, and I preach it to a lot of blacks. They don't like to hear it. You got to be just as fair to whites as they were mean to us, and make sure that we don't let the same thing happen to us. We become the bigots and the haters as white folks were. What's wrong?
Can we talk about Dr. King and what he
meant?
Yeah,
can't get Robbie and Bob. We were very close too. But he used to always stay in my house. He said, "Charles, I feel safer in your house than in the house I go in this country." I said, "Why that, Martin?" He said, "Because you got all these goons around. So I always believe in defense." I said, "But I thought you being turned." "Oh, but I do believe in it, but I prefer being safe." So yeah, we were very close, and we were on most of the marches together. And he was a wonderful man. But he dedicated to freedom and dedicated to not to be anti-anyone and just be for all.
Do you have a story about Dr. King and yourself that's I guess
I better not tell it.
Go ahead.
I better not. A lot of personal things he and I we do together. We know we were human, and
Absolutely.
we all loved the same thing everyone else loved. But I guess the most important thing was that he would always, if you notice in all the marches, if you just watch the marches, when they start beating up on him, he'd always back up toward the back of the line, kept backing up, and I sort of formed that part with him. So he and I never got beat too bad. But John Lewis, our dear friend John Lewis, got the hell beat out of him at on the bridge in Alabama. But Martin, I missed that because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in turning the other cheek. I'd fight back. But Martin, he really didn't, and he'd always somehow escape it. He escaped it, but he was a great person, and he loved people, period. But he's human like all the rest of us.
Everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time.
You're listening to The Brent Holland Show. For more information on today's guests, as well as free podcasts and downloads, please go to the www.brenthollandshow.com website, www.brenthollandshow.com.
Folks, we're speaking with Charles Evers. He's a legend, folks. Civil rights legend.
I don't know about how legend I am. I happen to be lucky to be 88 years old now and blessed to see so much changes. And 98% of it is for the better.
Let's talk about the changes. Has it really changed? Has the core changed? The whole
Oh, yes, things have changed. Everything has changed. And I'll be the last person to tell you things haven't changed. They haven't changed as much as we would like it. And they haven't changed to the point where black folks and white folks respect each other equally. But the sad part of it is, and somebody don't want to hear it, they ain't want to hear this, black folks have become their own worst enemy. Because now that we went from white superiority and violence and hatred to black violence and hatred. And that's the part that we hate. As far as the chance to become President of the United States, look what we have. Yes, things have changed. The chance to be governor, we had the highest number of black elected officials in the country in the state of Mississippi. Whereas 50 years ago, there wasn't a single black elected here other than Mountain Bayou, which is an all-black town. So, yes, things have changed. We can go to any school in the country. Look at our football team, the Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Ole Miss, when my brother first tried to get into school. Now we have more blacks in school than Ole Miss. I have two granddaughters who are law degrees from Ole Miss. than any other state in the nation. Yes, things have changed, but we as black folk got to be willing to accept the change and the responsibility.
Sir, can we talk a little bit about your friendship with Ted Kennedy? Now, go ahead, sir.
Yes, sure we can. Well, in the Kennedy, I was closer to Bobby than I was Teddy, but Bobby and I was very close. I was with him from the time he started running for office till the day he was killed. I was there with him. Ted and I became very close after Bobby's death. And Ted and I didn't agree on a lot of things because I used to tell him all the time, I said, Ted, you talk all that good liberal talk, but you don't show it. What you mean, John? I said, because in your office, you got one black man working, just one. And I said, if you're going to talk equality and justice, then you got to first show it. He laughed off. So, well, that's not true. I believe in civil rights. I know you believe in it, but then prove it. And so he was a very good guy, and I liked him. But I still say a lot of those liberals now. I said, I hope some of y'all listen out there in Canada. Talk the talk, but you don't walk the walk. Check the positions of where people are placed and see how many people other than your own race have those positions and that opportunity.
Bobby Kennedy. You said you were closer to
My
Bobby.
dear friend. Bobby and I was very, very close. And I have pictures of he and I all over the country when he ran for, when President appointed him Attorney General. And after he decided to step down and run for the Senate in New York, I said, Bobby, please don't go. No, we need you because unless we have somebody like you there, then we're not going to get things in justice. Well, yes, they are, Charles. Yes, they are. And he also told me one thing that I remember more than anything. He said, Charles, the time to leave when there's people who scream you up will be the first to scream you down. He said, leave before it's too late. He said, I'm going to run for the Senate. He said, will you support me? I said, oh, Bobby, please. I was head of the NAACP that time. I said, just don't run. So he went on and ran. I said, yes, I'll support you. So then he and I camping all over New York, Syracuse, Rochester, New York City, Harlem, all over New York. And one day we was at the University of, I believe it was Syracuse, and he was trying to read. He never could read a speech. He was stumbling, trying to read. I said, be back on the class. I said, Bobby, damn it, stop trying to read the damn speech. Just get up and tell people what you're going to do if you become senator. They don't know what the hell you're going to do. Stop. That's where we talk to each other. I said, don't be trying to read something off what somebody else said. I said, I don't know if I can do that. I guess you can. Just try it. So the guy came on down to Rochester. I think it was Rochester. And there were just thousands of people there, his students. And he got up and I was standing near where I could see him, And I said, go ahead. And he started talking, and he just started talking about himself and what he believed in this country and what all it could be. And the crowd went crazy. And when he became senator, what he wanted to do for New York, and they went wild. And back on the plane, we had our own plane, it's called the Caroline, the Kennedy plane. He said, Charles, damn, it worked. I said, I tell you that no one know what you're going to say but you when you get up on that stage. So from then on, I don't know if Bobby ever wrote another speech. He'd always just talk about this country and what it meant to him, what we can make this country to be.
You're listening to The Brent Holland Show. For more information on today's guests, as well as free podcasts and downloads, please go to the www.brenthollandshow.com website, www.brenthollandshow.com.
Sir, were you there the day with Bobby, the day that Mr. King died, and Bobby had to give that famous speech?
I was there with Bob when we were yes, Lord. We were in Indiana. Oh, that was some terrible time, believe me when I tell you. And Bobby, it really got to me because he just broke down. And when he said, come on, Charles, let's go, we got to go. We went out to this great mass rally. There were just thousands at that time, Negroes. They were mad and crazy. And he said, he got one, he said, I'm going to be all right, we're going to be all right. I said, sure, you're going to be all right. And we walked on through the crowd and got up on the stage when he started speaking. And he went on to tell them about how bad it was. And somebody said, you don't know nothing about it. He said, you just forgot what happened to me. And that just shut the crowd up. And he said, because hatred is a terrible thing. And just because the color of your skin, you hate another person, is nothing but evil and evil itself. He says, I would ask y'all, I know we've lost a great man, and we lost a great leader. I said, but we got to go head on and carry out the thing. And let's don't riot anymore. Let's don't burn and tap our own neighborhood. That's when you get home. Our own neighborhood. No, they don't burn their own neighborhood. They wasn't going downtown. He said, and go out here and register and vote. And when I become president, we're going to change things. and that hushed him up. And that was the greatest speech I guess I've ever heard.
Do they know about Martin Luther King?
We have left it up to your own volition if it can be handled.
Could you lower those signs, please? I have some very sad news for all of you, and that is that Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis. Martin Luther King dedicated his life to love and to justice between fellow human beings. He died in the cause of that effort. In this difficult day, in this difficult time for the United States, it's perhaps well to ask what kind of a nation we are and what direction we want to move in. For those of you who are black, considering the evidence evidently is that there were white people who were responsible, you can be filled with bitterness and with hatred and a desire for revenge. We can move in that direction as a country, in greater polarization, black people amongst blacks and white amongst whites, filled with hatred toward one another. Or we can make an effort, as Martin Luther King did, to understand and to comprehend and replace that violence, that stain of bloodshed that is spread across our land, with an effort to understand compassion and love. For those of you who are black and are tempted to be filled with hatred and mistrust of the injustice of such an act against all white people, I would only say that I can also feel in my own heart the same kind of feeling. I had a member of my family killed, but he was killed by a white man. But we have to make an effort in the United States. We have to make an effort to understand, to get beyond or go beyond these rather difficult times. We can do well in this country. We will have difficult times. We've had difficult times in the past, but we will have difficult times in the future. It is not the end of violence. It is not the end of lawlessness, and it's not the end of disorder. But the vast majority of white people and the vast majority of black people in this country want to live together, want to improve the quality of our life, and want justice for all human beings that abide in our land. And what dedicate ourselves to what the Greeks wrote so many years ago, to tame the savageness of man and make gentle the life of this world. Let us dedicate ourselves to that and say a prayer for our country and for our people. Thank you very much.
And from there on to California, and you know the result there.
Oh yeah,
Unfortunately. I was campaigning with him that day, and that evening coming in through Harlem. Through Brooklyn, through Watts. He kept hanging out the car. I said, "Bobby, sit down. They go snatch you." I can't say on air what I said. Snatch you out this damn car if you don't sit down. And he kept his fire. One of them tried to hang on to him, and Rayford Johnson at that time, who was one of our great supporters, grabbed him, held on to him, keep him falling. I said, "I told you to sit down." So he sat down and got back to the hotel. He said, "Damn, why are you always right?" I said, "I'm one of them. That's why I'm always." And then we went in the hotel, and we'd always have a little meeting before. And when they announced he'd won the California race, we went upstairs, as we always did, and have our little meeting, and he'd always say what he got to say. And the crowd was downstairs waiting on us at the hotel. We all stayed in the same hotel together. And we got to go to Ethel would always be with us in some cases like that. So she was there, and the rest of his wife, Ethel, And we got ready to go downstairs. I said, I don't think I'm going to go, Bobby. He said, oh, Charles, come on. I said, no, I'm not going. I said, don't you get up and make it and thanking me and the rest of us, other Negroes who help you. That's our job. He said, oh, come on. I said, no, I'm not going. So he said, okay, then. I said, I'll watch you on TV. So he went on downstairs. Somebody said, go on down. And by the time they got in, and I saw that, I said, let me get out. And guess I better go on down there with him and let him know I'm there. So when I went down, he was just coming up on the stage, and I stood down and pushed and got right and started in front. We could see no shit. We were all there. And he spoke for about 10 or 15 minutes. Great speech. And then balloons everywhere. And people, there's thousands of people, I thought, in that hotel lobby. And all of a sudden, when he got through, he waved everybody. He said, on to Chicago. And he turned. When he turned, he went back. I thought he was going to come down and step side of the stage, but he didn't. He went back to go back the back way, which I don't know why the hell he did that. But he went back to the kitchen, and I heard that pop. But I thought it was balloons. Pop, pop, pop. And I thought it was balloons. And all of a sudden they said, I heard somebody scream from the stage. Oh, they shot themselves. And that time I broke up on the stage. We all broke up there. And Rayford, I believe, and Rayford had grabbed her son. And I was, and Ethel was pulling, hanging on, and I pulled Ethel off of me to wait, Ethel, please. And I don't know, it gets worse and worse. And then he laying in the blood everywhere. And we rushed him to the hospital, and I stayed with him until he died. Stayed right there. I didn't leave out of the room. So they just went out in the waiting room. I couldn't wait in the operating room. And the next day or two, we put him on the train. I went back with him all the way to New York on the train. I stayed in the baggage room where his body was, where his casket was. And then when we got to New York, then we put him on the train and brought him back to Washington. I stayed with him to there. And that was it.
You're listening to The Brent Holland Show. For more information on today's guests, as well as free podcasts and downloads, please go to the www.brenthollandshow.com website, www.brenthollandshow.com.
Even after all these years, it still pulls on my heartstrings as well.
God, it bothers me. I don't know why I talk about it.
I know. I understand completely.
I'm sorry, people like that, but if you care about somebody, and a man like Bobby Kennedy, who did so much, gave so much, and was cut short so quickly, it just tears you apart. Then to see black folks, and I'm saying this loud and clear, don't seem like they give a damn about all the sacrifice been made. Now, black-on-black crime is much worse than the Klan ever did to us. That's something to say in it.
Where do you see America going under the guidance of Barack Obama?
Let's hope that I'm 100% for President Obama. Let's hope and pray that it continues to progress, and nobody wants to admit it. A lot of people who always never want to see us proceed, but it's progressing. It's getting better. And President Obama is a God-sent young man, and all I ask and pray for every day is God keep him safe. Let him keep on preaching the thing he's preaching to make this a better world for all of us, not just for black folks or for white folks, but for all of us. And those of us who claim he's something other than American, well, whatever he is, he's one of the greatest presidents we've ever had.
Sir, just to go back to Bobby for a second, I had the distinct privilege of interviewing Ted Sorensen.
That was another dear friend, yeah.
Oh, he's just passed away. I was just got back from his memorial actually in December, and I remember discussing civil rights with him, and he was always pushing President Kennedy to get going on it.
Right.
And I said, well, how was Bobby once President Kennedy was gone? He said, in the beginning I wasn't really with Bobby. He said, but eventually Bobby seemed to change and become. Was there a moment that you can remember when Bobby made that change?
Well, really, I think when we came to Mississippi, I'm not trying to take all the credit for this, but
no, sir.
See, Bobby had said to me that he just didn't know anything about Negroes, and it's true. He didn't know about Negroes. He lived in the exclusive. He didn't know about poor whites either, because he never was near them. So what Bob had to do, had to learn about Negroes, and I keep saying Negro, y'all, because that's what we were back in those days.
Understood.
And as he began to get around a few of us, he began to watch us and observe us. And he wasn't quite as pushy as we thought he should have been. But when he found us all the treatment, he came to Mississippi and saw how blacks have been treated and all the kind of condition they lived in, I think that helped to convince him that he had to do something about it. And he said to us, a group in the Delta here in Mississippi, that I'm going to go back to Washington, and I'm going to make sure that things don't ever remain this way any longer. I'm going to do all I can to change them. I think as he got to know us more, then he became more involved in the push of civil rights. You know, he's the one who helped to get married in school. In Ole Miss, James Mary was the first young black man to ever be in Ole Miss, but Bobby Kennedy, the one who came down and made sure that he was carried there safely with the U.S. Marshals. So he came around. But, you know, like I said, a lot of whites don't know anything about blacks. How many people up in Canada know about black folks?
There you go. That's a very good point. That's why I do these shows. And just to let you know, folks, Minnie Jean Brown's show is there as well, www.BrentHollandShow.com. Minnie Jean Brown, folks, was one of the original Little Rock 1957. 9 little black kids tried to get into an all-white high school. And her story's right there. She was stopped at the door with a bayonet in her face. And my God, what a wonderful woman she is.
Yeah.
How, you know, I admire minorities because they take negatives and turn them into positives. Now, I want to talk about your brother's death and what that meant to you at the time and how you must have turned those emotions into love afterwards. Because the students listening now are going to face similar things in their own lives. How do you turn that anger, that hate into love?
First of all, I think you got to realize what you're fighting for, what the hate is about. Why do you hate? What are you hating? And if you know what you're hating, then you got how can you defeat hate? You can't defeat hate by becoming a hater. And I guess things changed me more or less after Medgar was killed. My thing when I came back from Chicago, you know, I'd go to Chicago to make a living because I got into all kind of trouble here because I was having an NAACP Border League, and I went there to make money so Medgar and I could someday move to Central America and live just the two of us without having any kind of problem. But Medgar kept on fighting for equal right, integration of schools, for integration of public accommodations, the right to register and vote, and all these things. And he was killed. He was killed by a white person who was just ignorant and didn't know any better and was stupid. And I had become the same hater the white man had become about white people. And I said, when they killed Medgar, I came back, I'm going to go and kill every white person that I can see until they kill me. And, you know, and when I came back to Chicago, came back to Memphis to bury Medgar, after we buried him, I was sitting in his office. I took over the NAACP, and the NAACP said, we don't want Charles Hills out, because at that time they said I was a part of the mafia and all that old kind, which I was. That was back in the day. But I was trying to make money. And I took over his office without any vote at all. They said, well, you got to... Roy Wilkes at that time was head of the NAACP, national head of the NAACP, and he said, you can't be the ticket off the hill I came. I said, I am the NAACP for Medgar, and if you don't want me to be that little $4,000 or $5,000 you pay, you take it and do so-and-so with it, because I'm going to take his place. He's out organizing me a group of my own. They didn't want that. So then they let me become the NAACP head guard, and then I was sitting in his office one day trying to plan how to kill white people, and something just came to me. Now, no one likes to believe this. Something just came to me and just said, Charles, this is not the way. The thing, do what Medgar was trying to do. Voter registration, get people into jobs, get people in education, and get people registered and vote, and get people economically secure. Just talking to me, all like I'm talking now. It didn't sound like something crazy. He said, now you can't win. You don't have no guns. What are you going to kill them with? Anyway, so that kind of foolish stuff, you know, and I realized that I was wrong, and I was going to build up this kind of hate. Then there were white people who I knew had been good to us over the years. My daddy was saved from lynching by a white group in Decatur, and that had been Mr. Jim Thames, who'd been the white man who helped to try to get Medgar in the old myth. I began to think about the good white people, and I said, no, they're all not bad. So I guess I sort of I know I'm going a long round, but I just want to let you know these are something who come to you, and I began to do what Medgar done. That's organized voter registration, organized boycotts, organized getting kids to go in school, stay in school, and open up schools and to bust in anywhere where we were not legally come, we'd go and break the law. And I guess that was one of the things I did, and I kept remembering Medgar. And to this day, we still have, 48 years later, we still have what is called the Medgar homecoming celebration, where we have all kind of people come into Mississippi, and we have blues, we have a memorial service for him, and then we have B.B. King being with me for the last 40-something years, and we also have the memorial service. So we're still fighting for it, but it changed because I found out violence is not the way, and violence only create violence, and it doesn't get you anything but death itself.
I think that's perfect, sir. I think we could end it there. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your afternoon to speak with us, sir.
Well, thank you. I'm surprised sitting in my office. I was getting to go and get my eyes checked at 8:08. There's always be something wrong with you.
I don't believe you.
Doctor.
I think you should check your birth certificate, sir, because I don't believe you're 88.
But thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for everything you've done over the years and continue to do. God bless you.
Well, thank you, sir. Bye.
You're listening to The Brent Holland Show. For more information on today's guests as well as free podcasts and downloads, please go to the www.brenthollandshow.com website, www.brenthollandshow.com.